Howdy! Thanks for learning about MS with me, Aaron Boster. In this video, I'm going to be answering your questions. And don't turn away because all of that starts right now. In today's video, I've lined up a series of outstanding questions that viewers have posed. I'm going to take a crack at answering them in a rapid-fire, dragnet, Ask Me Anything MS. So grab a pen and paper and let's jump in. Ian Fay asks, how long after starting Aira do I continue if there's no improvement? My quick answer is 2 months. I would take the drug for 60 days before I would decide whether it's working or not. Now, in my experience, if you've been on the drug for 60 days, you're going to have one of two responses. You either have a Lazarus effect, oh my goodness gracious, it's amazing, it has really helped me with heat sensitivity, or you're going to say and if you say it didn't work. My answer, Ian, is 60 days. Jenny O asks, I have a question about a backlift and pump. Would you use that method as a last resort? I think it would change my life. Jenny, this is an outstanding question because I think it's an error to wait to use a backlift and pump as a last resort. On the contrary, it's my strong opinion that we don't consider backlift and pumps early enough. In my opinion, if you meet 4 criteria, we should at least consider a baclofen test dose. The 4 conditions are: number 1, you're spastic. Number 2, you don't like it. Number 3, what's currently being tried isn't working. And number 4, you are a responsible adult who's going to be an active participant in your care. If you are spastic, you don't like it, what's currently going on isn't working, and you're responsible, I think we should try a test dose. A baclofen test dose is where the neurologist does a lumbar puncture and squirts in liquid baclofen. And over the next 6 hours, you test drive a baclofen pump. And if you find it to be awesome, we can proceed with an implant. And if you don't, we stop. Great question, Jen. Julie asks, what are your thoughts on bariatric surgery to manage comorbidity of obesity? Julie, that is a really great question. And unfortunately, many people impacted by MS suffer from obesity. Being overweight makes everything more challenging, and losing weight in the setting of MS can be really hard. Bariatric surgery has been studied and is found to be safe in multiple sclerosis. And when I'm working with a patient with MS who needs to lose 100 pounds or more, bariatric surgery is my go-to. I will share in the last year, the use of the medications like semaglutide have become a close second. And when I'm trying to help a patient lose weight, I consider bariatric surgery or semaglutide. Bariatric surgery is a go. That Melissa asks, hi, out of baclofen, robaxin, and flexeril, what is best for MS spasticity? Hands down, the answer is baclofen. I prefer the dosing schedule of baclofen. I prefer the flexibility to go up and down on the dose, and I much prefer the side effect profile as compared to robaxin and flexeril. Baclofen's my answer. Chris Salas asks, can breast implants cause MS? No, absolutely not. Or trigger the disease? No, absolutely not. Gus asks an outstanding question. Can supplements interact with each other? The answer is yes, Gus. As a best practice, I would recommend that you bring the supplement bottles with you when you attend the MS neurologist. That way together, you can look at the ingredients of each of the supplements and make sure that there's no concerns about the supplement interacting with another one or the supplement interacting with one of your medicines. Great question. Susan asks, any thoughts on the psionic neural sleeve? Have any of your patients tried the sleeve and share their experiences? Susan, I love the psionic neural sleeve. Now, I don't have a financial relationship with the company, but I think that what they have invented is really, truly transformative and revolutionary. And I would be happy to make a completely separate video on the topic if you're interested. The short answer to your question is I have had several patients pursue the psionic neural sleeve, and after they've been trained up on how to use it, the vast majority have found it to be an outstanding addition to help them in ambulation. It is a really, really cool device. For those of you that are not familiar, it's a neoprene sleeve that goes from the bendy crack of your hip down to your ankle. And there are electrodes on your quad and your hamstring, on the front of your leg and in the calf. It works on your smartphone with a special algorithm, and it literally fires the muscles to help you ambulate properly. According to my YouTube analytics, less than half of you watching this video have subscribed. The biggest thing that you could do to help this channel is subscribe. It's completely free, so if you haven't done it already, click that button. Thank you! 4QMS asks, any thoughts on fiber supplementation? Well, 4QMS, that is a great question, and I think fiber is massively underappreciated in the American diet. In fact, most heavily processed foods have had the fiber removed to make it cook faster. Fiber is very important. Now, what is fiber exactly? It's an indigestible solid. It serves two purposes. Number one, it bulks up the stool. So when you have fiber plus water plus food, it makes a big bulky stool that's easy to hold on to and easy to get rid of, helping patients who both suffer from constipation and suffer from diarrhea. The second advantage to fiber is it feeds the microbiome. So that's the gut bacteria that line your colon. That's what they eat. And by feeding the gut bacteria, you keep them healthy and they process your food better and they help you metabolize nutrition better. I typically recommend that we shoot for about 28 grams of fiber a day. There are plenty of natural sources of fiber that you can find in your diet, like apples, peaches, plums. Berries are very high in fiber. Avocados are very high in fiber, and any green leafy vegetable is high in fiber. If you're having trouble getting enough leafy greens and vegetables and fruits to up your fiber game, I would recommend taking a supplement. Michelle asks, what is the recommended amount of protein that a person with MS should have? The answer is 1 gram for every 2.2 pounds of body weight, or 1 gram of protein for every 1 kilogram of body weight. Natalie asks, how often should individuals with MS get an MRI? Once you have an MS diagnosis, we use the MRI as a biomarker to give us insights into how well we're controlling your disease. And I think it's a best practice to get an MRI of the brain once every year. I personally like to get an MRI of your cervical spine about once every other year. I don't typically image the thoracic spine unless we're looking for new symptoms which localize to that spot. MRIs are super useful. Great question. Harm City asks, I have lesions only in my brain. Do I have a better prognosis? I assume what Harm City means is, as compared to having lesions in the brain and the spine, is having only brain lesions better? And the answer is yes. Prognostically, spinal cord lesions are really bad for you. And if you don't have any spinal cord lesions, that's a better situation. When you think about the brain, everything's not equal, and having lesions at the base of your brain and what we call the brain stem or the infratentorium is worse prognostically than if you only have abrasions in the supratentorium. Truth be told, this video is getting kind of long, so I'm going to split it in half and I'll publish the second half next week. Until then, if you'd like to up your game and learn more about MS, click the video that's on your screen. And as always, this is Aaron Boster saying be safe and take care.